On number 29, it says to find x to the nearest tenth. This is using what's called the angle bisector theorem. And we know we have an angle bisector since we have these arcs showing congruency between these two parts. That means this segment is an angle bisector. So if you'll remember, we learned that that angle bisector is splitting this side into proportional parts in the same way it is in the two sides that are given. So it means the ratio of these parts is equivalent to the ratio of these sides. You just need to be consistent in how you set up those parts and those sides. And so, for instance, if I put 6 over 6.8, I'm doing my two parts, but I did the top one over the bottom one. So my second ratio would be the two sides, and I would put top over bottom again. So that's one option for your proportion. You could do side over part, x over 6. So I did side over part of the top triangle, and so I would put side over part of the bottom triangle. Again, the key is just to be consistent. You would not want to write a ratio with the 6 and the 17.1 because those do not correspond in any way, or the 6.8 and the x. They do not correspond in any way. The 6 corresponds to the x because they came from the same triangle, and the 6 corresponds to the 6.8 because they're both parts of that side. So you've got to have some consistency in how you set up your ratios. Both of these proportions will work because you'll see your cross products are exactly the same. You have the 6.8 times the x, which is 6.8x, and then you have the 17.1 times the 6 on the other ratio on both of these. And so 17.1 times 6 is 102.6. So now we can solve for x by dividing both sides by the 6.8. And remember, we're given rounding rules, and so when you do that division, you get on your calculator 15.088235.9, and it goes on, but you're asked to round to the nearest tenth. So in the tenths position, I have a 0. That's either going to stay as 0 or go up 1, depending on what's next door. Next door is 5 or bigger. It's an 8, so that means to make that 0 a 1. So our x is approximately 15.1, which is A.